Welcome to our new unit, Chapter 5, which is Relations and Functions. We're going to start with our first lesson, which is 5.1, Representing Relations. So before we get into relations, we want to get a few terms down so we understand what we're talking about. First term we want to talk about is a set. We have a definition here. A set is a collection of distinct objects. So we're talking about things that are related to one another. And of course, an element is one of that set. It's one object in the set. So let's get an example down here, a set. We'll talk about all the high school principals in the Louis-Riel School Division. So we'll write that down. All principals in LRSD, Louis-Riel School Division. So if you think about Nelson McIntyre, Dakota, Glenlawn, Windsor Park, College Bellevue, they've all got principals. That is a set. Now an element of the set is a single principal. So Nelson McIntyre, we have Mr. Wagner. So Mr. Wagner, he is an element of the set. Mr. Wagner is one of all the principals in the Louis-Riel School Division. So your set is the large group, your element is the single aspect of that group. So let's look at a relation now. A relation is the association between two sets. So we've got one set here of principals. I don't know, maybe our second set could be the number of years they've been teaching. So the principals is set 1, years teaching would be set 2. An element would be Mr. Wagner, and how many years has Mr. Wagner been teaching? Let's just say 15, maybe 20, who knows? He's been here a while. So the relation is the association between these two sets. Let's look at an example here. Set 1 is a mode of transport. So the elements of this particular set are car, bike, truck, and unicycle. Now this isn't all the modes of transport. We didn't talk about a plane, we didn't talk about a bus. But for our set, these are our 4 elements that we've identified. And for set 2, we've got the number of tires that could be on these modes of transport. You could have 1 tire, 2 tires, 3 tires, or 4. For our example here. And again, you can realize you can extend these numbers or these sets as big or as long as you want. Sorry about that, just fix a little problem. So now we're talking about the set 1 and set 2, the transport number of tires. We need to talk about or show this relationship in 4 different ways. First way is we want to look at it in terms of words. How can we use our words to connect our two relations, our two sets? So the first thing we can do is we can take the element of our first set, which would be our car, and we could do its matching element from set 2. Well, a car has 4 wheels, so we would say 4. And in between here, we need a little bit of description. This is where our words has in. So car and 4, we need to tie that together, saying a car has the number of tires. And that's really our association. The car comes from set 1, the 4 comes from set 2, and our words here is the association. So what are the words to show this relationship? Has the number of tires. Car has the number of tires to be 4. So we can now look at our second way, which is our ordered pair. So essentially what you want to do is you want to take the element of set 1 and match it with its element of set 2, and we'll put it in brackets. So we'll open up a set, and our first element was the car. And the car has 4 tires, so we'll put a comma and 4. Next set of brackets, and our next element was the bike. And our bike, traditionally, we have 2 tires on our bike, so we'll put down 2. Third element was the truck. And our truck has 4 tires. And our fourth element was the unicycle. And a unicycle has 1. So in order to kind of tie this together to show its one relation, we're going to put a larger set of brackets outside the entire thing. And when we do larger set of brackets, we like to make them a little more fancier, so we kind of do these guys. Big squigglies. You wouldn't want to put just a curved bracket here, because when you get to large numbers of brackets, they tend to look a lot alike, kind of get confused. So we use the curved for our first set, the squigglies for our second, and if you needed to, you could probably put a big square set around if you had to go to a third set of brackets. But we don't. A big squiggly, each set, big squiggly, close it off. Now what you'll notice here too is we're using each element of set 1. Car, bike, truck, unicycle. Now because these are our starter set, our first set, we're going to make sure we have each and every one of them in our ordered pair. The elements of set 2 don't all have to be there. We've used 4, 2, and 1. The third, number 3, 3 tires, doesn't appear in any of our ordered pairs because there's no association with that one element of set 2. So brackets, the first element of set 1, and it's matching its corresponding association with set 2. Okay, table. So we want to take our information and set it up as a table. So what I'm going to do is put down our 2 headings. We're going to put set 1 down first. Really important that set 1 goes down first. Not necessarily in today's lesson, but in ones to come. So we'll take our mode of transport. As our first title. And we're going to make a little T-chart here, our T-table. And number of tires for our second label. So again, we list all 4 elements of set 1. The car, the bike, the truck, and the unicycle. So this is all elements of set 1, and its corresponding elements to set 2. So a car has 4, a bike has 2, a truck has 4, and a unicycle has 1. Now remember, we're looking at expressing this relationship in 4 different ways, so we want to say the same thing 4 different ways. So if you look at it, we're really saying the same thing. Car has 4. Ordered pair. Car has 4. And our table. The car has 4. So it's the same information expressed in different modes, if you will. Finally, let's go to our 4th mode, which is the arrow diagram. So for our arrow diagram, we make 2 rather large ovals, and we have a little arrow pointing to the left. So this essentially becomes all our elements of set 1, and this becomes all of our elements of set 2. And notice how I said all. So we're going to list them all here. We've got a car, we've got a bike, we've got a truck, and we've got the unicycle. That's set 1. Set 2 had 1 tire, 2 tires, 3 tires, and 4 tires. So I've got all elements of both sets. That's one reason I kind of like the arrow diagram, because you do see all the elements. Now what you have to do is draw lines that connect the chord matching sets. So you've got the car, and you've got 4 tires. You've got the bike, and you got 2 tires. You got the truck, also going to 4 tires. And you got the unicycle going up to 1. So the arrow diagram, you're having to draw arrows that match up set 1 to set 2. One other thing I like about this is that it does show me right away which elements of set 2 are not being used. So the last thing we have to do is kind of describe the association with the arrow. The car has the number of tires, which was 4. The bike has the number of tires, which is 2. The truck has a number of tires, which is 4. The unicycle has a number of tires, which is 1. So again, same wording we used in our words, we now see in the arrow diagram. So you can take any 2 sets, identify the association using your words, an ordered pair, table, or an arrow diagram. Let's switch to our textbook. And on page 262, we can do 2 of the A questions, 4 of the B questions, and 1 of the C.